I'm working on a tissue box cover here, and this video I'll just go over kind of this pattern that I've got for the top of the box. I've got one in each side. It's a fairly simple design, but it's also a little bit different from some other stuff I've done, so I figured I'd kind of walk through that. It is a very kind of natural floral sort of design, so I like to make it as kind of flowing and continuous as I can. So starting at the very edge there, and then just continuing around the stem. And the way I'm going to carve this stem ends right there. There's, I think, probably different ways that this could be done. It would all look fine. This is just kind of the way I've chosen to do it. So a little bit of a tight turn there relative to the width. Didn't quite get all the way down to the bottom around the first time here, so come and pick that stuff up. One issue that I do have with this project is how tall it is. I like to work on a bench, a desktop, instead of on my lap, as many people do, but this raises the project quite high relative to myself, so a little bit of a challenge to kind of keep angles and everything consistent, and as well as if I have any big chips, strength to get the knife down in there. Fortunately, this project itself doesn't really have any large chips that I have to worry about that for. Alright, and then kind of a similar process on this next section here. Start out there and follow the loop all the way in. I'll just continue all the way around here to make that nice and smooth transition. And in order to finish this, it needs to come all the way around, so I can't really just do this chip. This is all connected, so I'm going to go ahead and continue this around then to the other half to make sure that everything is nice and smooth and continuous once I do that connected part. One nice thing about kind of the organic floral patterns like this, especially since it's not a repeated floret or rosette or grid or anything, that mistakes are kind of hidden, not as precise, since nothing's really lining up with it and there's no precise geometry to it. So if you get off the line a little bit, it's not really going to be very noticeable. So now as I come to the other side, I can pick up and finish this other one that I started. Didn't quite get that cut out. Come back and try that again. Kind of trying to see where some of this stuff is to clean up, how I need to remove that. The lighting kind of messes with the shadows to see exactly where the cuts are missing, but I think that'll be good for now. And then do the same little stem coming out this side. And on this one I did the opposite side first. I did this one in continuous with that, and this I'm doing this one. It's kind of just, I don't know, maybe not random, but by being right-handed, that kind of is a little more natural flow doing the left side coming into this. Doesn't really matter. Again, just kind of trying to go for the smooth continuous, and it should work out the same both ways ideally. That's one nice thing about chip carving is it generally doesn't matter how you accomplish the process, as long as you're using good technique and plan well. You can't really tell how many times it took, what tools you used, any of that sort of stuff. So as long as you get the results you want, that's all that really matters. Missed a little bit of the pattern line here, so I'll come back and make sure that's as thick as I want it. Oh, and I missed this other side over here, so I'll come back and finish that up. This is a bit of a tricky one, as it's kind of a tight turn that switches from that first part was with the grain, and then I'm going to have to go against the grain as I come back up here. And I could either try to do it half cut this way and then come back this way so everything is with the grain. That tends to be tough to get them to line up. On that line you're going to have kind of a joint there where they come together. And the other option that I didn't do is just coming from this side and coming around. But the reason I wanted to go this way is this is the side with the wider cut, and so the grain direction is going to have more of an impact on the wider cut as opposed to this is narrower. So I wanted to go with the grain for the wider cut and then finish up with the against the grain cut. And now for the little kind of diamond shape here at the bottom. This one's pretty straightforward. It's just a couple of triangle chips back to back. They're relatively small, so not too much to worry about here. Just as usual with back-to-back chips, making sure that cut stays nice and crisp along the line. You don't really want any flat edge on that, but you also don't want to cut through it and make it kind of wavy. So that's this kind of floral design.